Welcome back to BYoungMinistry.com, to another blog and to another podcast. Today we continue our study of the book of the Revelation. We're in chapter 17, verses 9 through 18, which reads, "This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, one is, and the other has not yet come. But when he does come, he must remain for only a little while. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them because he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Then the angel said to me, the waters you saw where the prostitute sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth." That's Revelation chapter 17, verses 9 through 18. Revelation chapter 17 makes it very clear there will be a final formation of a one-world religion during the tribulation. This one-world religion will be Satan's final attempt to capture the minds and the souls of people. All the diverse ideologies of this world will blend together into one. The term mystery means hidden as for now. The name Babylon the Great has always been the source of all false religions. It all began at the Tower of Babel when man deliberately refused to follow the command of God. They carried their false religious systems all over the world. It all started in one place, and all those prostituted children will come home in the end. And it'll be the same form of religion that mothered all the prostitutes and all the abominations of religion throughout the world. In verse 9 of our text, we read, "This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits." Literally, God is saying to us here, I invite you to more closely inspect this. Look more deeply into what I am saying. And only those who with spiritual minds and wisdom, they are the only ones who are going to understand the revelation that is about to follow. The 7 heads are 7 small mountains on which the prostitute sits, according to verse 3. This will be Rome, the city built on 7 hills. Throughout history, Rome has been described as the city of 7 hills. But there is something more deeper here. It will be much more than just the city Rome. This false religious system will be worldwide. In verses 10 and 11 we read, "There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, one is, the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain for only a little while. The beast, who once was and now is not, is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction." This kingdom will be vastly more than one city. The beasts or the Antichrist's kingdom will be the false world religious system, which will cover the world. And the heads are on the beast, not on the religious system. The religious system is one world unified religion, but the heads are on the beast, and the beast is the political figure, not the religious one. So Rome is referenced here, but not for its religious component, because the 7 heads are on the beast. In Daniel chapter 2, verses 36 through 43, we read, "After you, another kingdom will arise, inferior to yours. Next, a third kingdom, one of bronze, will rule over the whole earth. Finally, there will be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron, for iron breaks and smashes everything, and as iron breaks things to pieces, so it will crush and break all the others. Just as you saw that the feet and toes were partly of baked clay and partly of iron, so this will be a divided kingdom. Yet it will have some of the strength of iron in it, even as you saw iron mixed with clay. As the toes were partly iron and partly clay, so this kingdom will be partly strong and partly brittle. And just as you saw the iron mixed with baked clay, so the people will be mixed and will not remain united, any more than iron mixes with clay." Daniel here tells us who these empires were. They were Egypt, Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece. The descending weakness in Daniel's description, depicted by the changing metals. These 5 empires have come and gone. And one is, which was a reference to the Roman Empire of the Apostle John's day. And as John writes, there's one yet to come. This one will be the revived Roman Empire. The 7th empire is the kingdom which is to come, the kingdom of Antichrist during the tribulation. And although he will be set back, he will bounce back in the latter part of the 70th seven, or the tribulation, and he will be known as the 8th kingdom. In verses 12 and 13 we read, "The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings, who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose, and will give their power and authority to the beast." The 10 horns represent 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom. During the tribulation, or the time of Antichrist's reign, there will be 10 kings that will help him rule the world. Their reign will be brief, as indicated by the reference to 1 hour in verse 12. These 10 kings will be devoted to the Antichrist, who will take control of the world for the latter 3.5 years of the 70th seven, or the tribulation. These kings will rule in one of the beast's divided 10 sectors of the world. To these kings, the beast will be God. His purpose will be to destroy Christ, Christians, Israel, so that his kingdom will prevail. In verse 14 we read, "They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers." The Lamb, or the Lord Jesus, will overcome the beast and his supporters. That is the repeated theme of the book of the Revelation. The Lamb will be unveiled, he will be revealed, and he will triumph over Satan. This will be the final battle of Armageddon. The church will be onlookers, and the Lord Jesus will single-handedly defeat the greatest human force ever amassed against God. In verses 15 through 18 we read, "Then the angel said to me, the waters you saw, where the prostitute sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. This massive army of the Antichrist, which will come from all over the world, will be defeated. The irony will be, according to verse 16, the Antichrist will hate the prostitute, which will be his world religion, and he will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. It will be just like Satan to oppose even his own. And the Antichrist will rob the prostitute's wealth, leaving her absolutely bankrupt. The Antichrist will eat up all of the resources of his one world religion. In the end, according to verse 17, the purposes of God will come to pass. Oddly, according to verse 17, sometimes Satan accomplishes God's will. God will use the evil desires of Satan to totally destroy all wickedness on the earth. And so, Revelation chapter 17 gives us a picture of the final destruction of all of the false religion. All that will be left will be the beast and his world empire, which Christ will eventually destroy. To better understand the beast and his empire, we will have to go through Revelation chapter 18, and we will begin to do that tomorrow. In the end, God will have his way, and as we have seen, there will always be times when we will be left scratching our heads. But at the end of it all, we will look back and see the great tapestry that God always weaves in and through our lives. This is always amazing to me. In the end, we will have enough information to marvel at God for all of eternity. We can truly trust an unknown future to this known God. My friends, I trust this blog and this podcast are helpful to you in your walk with the Lord. If I can be of further assistance to you, don't hesitate to shoot me an email at BYoungMinistry@gmail.com. Hey, have a great day.